Hey guys, we have a pretty busy energy week going on this week as we transition from November into December, and we are starting today with some pretty busy energy going on as well. The moon is making lots of aspects today. We also have Mars making a lot of aspects. Number one, Mars is forming an exact trine to Saturn in the sky today. Self-discipline, self-control, slowing things down a little bit, you guys, making some wise choices and wise decisions. These are things that are very facilitated and supported in the energy today. We also have personal planets, Mercury, our mind, Venus, our heart, relationships, what we want, coming into an opposition with Mars as well. This is really heating things up. This could have us honestly a bit all over the place this week, especially with the square that is simultaneously going on from both Mars and Venus, Mercury in opposition to each other, to Neptune in the sign of Pisces is also setting up a mutable T-square that we are dealing with this week as well. And like I said, this could sort of have us a bit all over the place. We're going to be talking about this dynamic quite a bit this week, but self-discipline, self-control, sort of reeling ourselves in a little bit is going to be in our best interest. Lots of moon aspects going on today. Like I said, the moon's also going to be squaring Uranus, squaring the nodes, maybe some unexpected things happening, some breakdowns or some breakthroughs in one type of a way, but it is all boiling down into a very interesting week of astrology, you guys. Let's get into the chart of today. Let's see how this energy is coming together for us and what perhaps we may be able to expect in our experience on the ground as we transition this week into the month of December. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Monday, November 28th, 2022. My name is Aubrey, and this is your astrological outlook of the day. If you guys stick with me till the end of the report, we're also going to be looking at a collective tarot reading that I have done for us all today, just because I really like to tap the field from more than one modality to get a more well-rounded, holistic overview of what is playing out for us on a vibrational level on any given day. So we're doing that as well, but we're starting with the astrology, and we always start with the astrology. And we've got lots of astrology to talk about today. Like I said, this does seem to be a pretty busy, energetic week that we have going on. We've got some exact aspects coming into fruition this week. Like I said, we are starting this week with Mars and an exact trine to Saturn. Actually, this is the second out of 3 exact trine to Saturns that we are getting between Mars and Saturn as a result of Mars's retrograde process. So we have that going on this week, but we also have these personal planets, Mercury, Venus, and the Sun is coming along to going to be forming an opposition to Mars retrograde in the sign of Gemini. It's also in the square to Neptune. So that's really going to be coloring a lot of what we're talking about this week as well. And it's starting to come into effect today, although it is not exact yet. What we are primarily focusing on today in the energy is this Mars trine Saturn energy. We also have a moon that is making several aspects. The moon is in Aquarius right now, which means the moon is moving into actually the conjunction with Saturn today, while Saturn is in the trine to Mars. So the moon will also be conjoining Saturn and trining Mars while we have Saturn and Mars in an exact trine. So this is really emphasizing this energy. So this is our primary focus today. We're going to start by talking about this Mars trine Saturn energy. And like I said, this is the second out of 3 of these exact trines that are going on between Saturn and Mars. Now it's interesting because Saturn and Mars, you know, in traditional astrology, these planets are both the great malefics. When they're in aspect together, usually this doesn't bring a whole lot of goodness. However, the trine aspect is a little bit different because it facilitates like the more positive aspects of these energies working and functioning together to really create something magnificent, outstanding. This is a master builder frequency. When we have Mars, our energy, our stamina, our like motivation, the fire, you know, burning within us, our creativity, our passion, and Saturn, attention to detail, focus, precision, hard work, endurance, ability to like stand the test of time and to create things that are truly successful and rewarding in their long-term outcome, even if they take a little more like work and sacrifice on the front end of things. So when we're talking about Mars and Saturn together in the trine and this energy being facilitated, it really can produce tremendous, long-lasting, like feats of labor essentially and just masterpieces. So for me, this aspect, when we have Mars and trine to Saturn, I really look at it as like a master builder energy. And we're talking about in air signs. This is the realms of ideas and thoughts and information and communication. And with Mars retrograde right now as well in the sign of Gemini, I feel like this trine specific and these air signs is helping to bring real solid solutions to problems, either in the way that we've been acting or behaving, or problems that have been existing for long periods of time, or between people as well, having to do with the aspect or the sign of Gemini. So I feel like this Mars Saturn energy is really in the trine, is really helping to give us some good ideas to solve some long-standing problems or issues that perhaps have been preventing us from really like moving forward successfully in one way or another. Saturn in the sign of Aquarius. So, and like I said, this is the second out of 3 of these hits. The first one was on September 28th, and it was of this year, and it was actually at the same degrees where we have this one occurring at 20 degrees of Aquarius and Gemini, where these planets are lining up today because of like the way that these retrogrades have worked and everything like that, because Saturn was retrograde as well. And the third and final trine, this because of this Mars retrograde cycle that we have going on, it's actually going to be happening on March 29th, and it's going to be in water signs. By that point in time, Saturn will have left Aquarius, and it will be happening at like 2 degrees of Pisces and Cancer. So that will be a much different vibe in terms of the way that the Mars and Saturn energy is facilitating working together. And that actually I feel like is going to be helping us to solve some problems, or whatever we're coming to right now, I feel like is going to have the ultimate outcome of like helping us to somehow like reestablish a sense of peace in actually like the home environment, or to do with like our community, or what is going on like under the surface of things or behind the scenes of things in some way, like on a very deep and intimate levels within our relationships and within like our deep connections and stuff like that. Like something about the energy that is transpiring now and the energy that transpired in the end of September in the context of maybe these ideas that are coming to us is going to do something to help us like emotionally relate on deeper levels to the people that are very close to us in positive and productive ways moving forward into the spring when Mars leaves Gemini and they form this trine in Cancer and Pisces. So that's where this is going. But for now, at this midpoint, we are still in this air energy. We are still in this idea energy. And I feel like, with the moon coming in today as well, of course, synchronistically, the moon loves to be right wherever the major aspects happen to be going on to boost and trigger and accentuate these activations. So the moon is doing this for us today, and this is some good ideas, again, I feel like, on how to fix things that are likely to be coming through with Mars retrograde in regards to either interpersonal dynamics that have been out of balance for a period of time, or some type of long-standing issue perhaps within ourselves, a self-sabotaging pattern that we are gaining some recognition or some insight into how to alleviate right now. Or it could just have to do with general issues that we've been navigating or problems that we've been trying to solve. Roadblocks also that perhaps have been preventing us from moving forward in one way or another. There could be some insight that is coming through somehow that is sort of opening things up for us or providing solutions to help us make some progress and move ahead. Mars is also retrograde, so this has to do with perhaps like reworking things or redoing things, or again, like fixing something that got off track or that has not been working somehow, coming up with ways to do things better, I feel like is also indicated by this energy. And also, Gemini and Aquarius, Saturn and Mars, this could be some brilliant, like forward thinking ideas and solutions, again, to solve these older problems or these more long-standing problems. But whatever we're coming up with in this energy, it's likely to be like an actual solid solution, not just sort of like a band-aid over a symptom. Like this is likely to be solving the core of something that can actually help us move forward in a positive, productive way that is enduring somehow. We're talking about Saturn in the sign of Aquarius in this self-discipline, self-control, work ethic. I'm going to be reiterating that over and over again in this report today, because I do feel like this is, like I said, like sort of our key to success this week in the midst of what could be a more sort of all over the place energy because of the Venus Mercury Mars opposition and square to Neptune that we're also going to be talking about. It is just going to be really good for us to be able to sort of pull it back a little bit and make sure that we are not jumping the gun on things or just rushing into something like swords blazing without being prepared for the consequences that that may create for us to have to navigate. So self-discipline, self-control, strong work ethic is also represented by this energy, but the self-discipline and the self-control, this is facilitated in terms of the way that we are using our energy when we have the trine going on with Saturn as well. So we are being supported in this process. This is not just like, I'm just saying that this is a good idea. Like, this is a good idea, but it's also universe is helping us to actually like execute on this idea, at least to start this week when we do have Mars in this close trine to Saturn. Great day today, you guys, to get things done, especially anything, like I said, that needs to be fixed or redone or reworked or requires focus, concentration, attention to detail, or some type of like endurance. Vitality and strength should generally be quite good today, even though we do have Mars retrograde in the square to Neptune, which brings a lower energy level generally. And this is honestly something, you guys, that we've been dealing with and is going to be carrying through for quite a while. Don't be surprised, rather, if just this winter or throughout, kind of through next spring generally, you're questioning maybe like where your energy's gone or why you don't have as much motivation to maybe be as like physically active or maybe like why like getting up and going to the gym and just doing the workout and stuff like that is maybe a little like less exciting or less enthusiastic or a little more difficult than perhaps it's been in the past. It's likely to be just because we have this Mars-Neptune sustained square going on with Mars retrograde, and it does bring down energy levels. But with Mars in the trine to Saturn today, this does bring things back up a little bit, and lots of endurance, like I said, lots of stamina, ability to get the job done or redone and to do it well. That's the thing with this energy, like whatever we're doing it well. We're not just doing it to do it. We're not just rushing through it. We're not just like, sort of like doing whatever needs to be done to like get it done and to move on to the next thing. We're taking our time, we're slowing down, we're paying attention to detail, we're being focused, like we are working until it's done and we've done it right. Doing it right this time. This also to me is representing second chances to succeed at something, to do something over. Again, perhaps relating back to something that happened in the end of September, or it could be a part of a process that began around then and we are working towards until around the spring as well, with the correlation between the Mars retrograde and Mars going direct and actually leaving Gemini and also then coming back into the trine with Saturn. It's like whatever solutions that we're coming up with, or it's like Mars retrograde in Gemini. This is like needing to redefine like the relationship of our ego to our mind, or our perception of ourself as well. We are getting like a makeover in terms of how we perceive ourself and our ability to act and use our energy in relation to like what we consciously want to create for ourselves. So, and this is a process of also helping us to break through a lot of like personal delusions or illusions that we've been operating under in regards to our own capabilities, our own abilities, our own personal potencies, our own creativity. Like this is waking us up to the truth of our own creative potential and ability to like have the courage and the assertiveness and the independence and like see ourselves for who we truly are. So I do think ultimately, like when we head into the spring and when we head out of this Mars retrograde energy and Mars enters the sign of Cancer, we're going to be perceiving ourselves and our ability to do what is good for us and to like put some energy into creating like a life for ourselves that is more reflective of our personal home base. I feel like this is sort of where this is all going to, and really like restoring a sense of fulfillment in terms of like the deep connections and the relationships that are a part of our lives as well with this Cancer energy that we're going to be moving to. But that is next spring. We will get there. For now, let's stay focused. Let's talk about this Mars Gemini energy that we have going on right now, and the square to Saturn again, or the trine to Saturn, sorry. Second opinions also, I feel like, is something that this could be representing, because we're talking about the air sign, we're talking about Gemini, and we're talking about Saturn is also like the judge. This could be like second opinions about something, or like a second judgment or a second choice or a second look or a second thought, or I don't know, something like that. But there's like it's like a do-over energy, also a second chance to be successful in some way. I feel like is coming through with this as well, putting hard work into doing something well and doing it right. If we are doing it over, very focused, not looking to distractions as well. We may be very irritated by lots of distractions and other people in this energy today. And also finding things out, I feel like, is like a fundamental of this energy as well, and carefully examining choices and opinions based on whatever new information is coming to us. Information is the driving force in everything this week, you guys. And at this point in time, with Mars in the sign of Gemini as well, Mars being our energy and what fuels us and what motivates us in the sign of Gemini, which is all about information. Information really is like the fuel that is lighting the fire under us right now. And it's interesting as well. We want to be very careful in decision making, but there's a lot of new information that is coming to us that is going to be perhaps presenting some alternative choices and decisions as well, or maybe showing us things from a different perspective than we had perceived before. Let's talk about the Sabian symbols associated with the positions themselves, the degree placements themselves of this Mars-Saturn trine that's coming in today. Mars is at 20 degrees of Gemini. That Sabian symbol is a cafeteria with an abundance of choices. And Saturn is at 20 Aquarius. That Sabian symbol is a large white dove bearing a message. So, this is really saying that some type of information or some type of message that is coming through to us in some way, being delivered to us in some way, could be presenting some choices to us, or opening our eyes to see an array of options that we didn't see before, or providing perhaps some opportunities that we didn't know were there. There's an element of a lot of choices coming through, which is also very characteristic of Mars in the sign of Gemini, and having to sort through options and decide, make choices. But again, with Saturn in the trine, Saturn is like wise judgment. This is smart choices. This is not making like taking rash, impulsive action. This is using whatever information comes to us in this energy and applying it to make some really like smart, good choices to guide our like future success and navigating whatever is coming at us at this point in time. So careful, wise decision making, finding things out, and carefully examining the options that are presented to us. Making smarter choices, ultimately, I feel like is sort of what a lot of this energy is boiling down to. And these aspects are assisting us with. That's another part of this Mars and Gemini retrograde that I feel like is the lesson behind a lot of this energy at this point in time. I feel like it's trying to help us make smarter choices that are more in alignment with our own personal truth as well, as we are transitioning into the age of Aquarius, this age of self-actualization. And that's really what a lot of this is about, okay? Now, you guys, let's talk a little bit about these other Mars transits that we have going on right now as a result of the personal planets, Mercury, Venus, coming into the opposition with Mars right now as well. Today, we have Mercury at 18 degrees of Sagittarius. We have Mars at 20 degrees of Gemini. We've got Venus at 16 Sag. So we're looking at 2 and 4 degrees off exact opposition to Mars right now. And also setting up the loose square to Neptune. Neptune is at 23 degrees of Pisces right now, so that is coming in as well. These are the mutable signs. We're talking about Pisces, Gemini, Sagittarius, and of course Virgo is opposite Pisces, but Virgo is the empty sign in this T-square that is setting up and that is characteristic of the energy that is carrying us through this whole week that we have going on. And because these are the personal planets, you guys, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, we are likely to feel this personally, in our little microcosm and in our personal experiences as this is going on. Now, we're going to focus primarily on Mercury today because Mercury is the first planet that is going to be coming into this opposition to Mars and square to Neptune. But Venus is right hot on his tail as well. And we do really want to be careful with this aspect. This is one of the main aspects, you guys, that can have us just erupting out of our mouths in ways that are not beneficial to us because we just can't control it. So this is where this specific aspect is where this Mars trine Saturn, this self-discipline, this self-control, this being able to keep the lid on a little bit is likely to benefit us, okay? We really want to be careful of what is coming out of our mouth this week, because this can cause, first of all, remember, we currently have Mars retrograding in the sign of Gemini. Mars retrograding, this is like already providing sort of a lack of control, self-control. Now, blessings be, we do have the trine going on to Saturn, which is supporting and facilitating us being a little bit more self-controlled in this process. But if you take that Saturn trine out of there and just have Mars retrograde in the sign of Gemini, this is a lot of reckless speech happening, and reckless action and things not well thought through, and not a lot of self-restraint going on, okay, in terms of how we're expressing ourselves and just sort of doing impulsive things without thinking it through clearly when Mars retrograding in the sign of Gemini. And Gemini is ruled by the planet Mercury. Mars is currently ruled in his position by the planet Mercury, and then with Mercury in the sign of Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter. This is big, this is expansion, this is truth, this is our beliefs, okay? Coming into the opposition with Mars in Gemini, his sign, this is like us speaking our truth at any cost, okay? And just not caring. Like, this is 0 F's given about who is impacted or upset or displaced or whatever. Like, this is just saying it. This is coming clean. This is just saying it. This is how I feel. This is my personal truth. And then with Venus there as well, about how I feel about you, about how I feel about me, about how I feel about the situations generally, about other people, about values, about love, like about relationships. I'm speaking my truth. I'm doing it in a very big and expansive way in this Sagittarius season. And I don't really, my concern is not who gets slayed by it, okay? That is a very strong possibility when we have this particular dynamic of planets lining up. And also, we can't forget the square to Neptune that is also going on, which we will bring in a minute and talk more about. But, during this week, okay, the Sagittarius season, this is the truth of what we think coming out, and hostility is sort of likely to be kind of like seeping out of us, even on like very subtle subconscious levels, and people are likely to be picking up on it. This is just a week where you may find yourself in like weird power struggles, or just like feeling like hostility, or just like very, very tense environment, okay? And people are likely to just be verbally erupting. And we want to, again, avoid rash, reckless actions. This is very important. We also want to be careful this week with sharp or hot objects, especially in regards to our hands or our arms. And this is especially for people with strong Mercury placements, because Mercury and Mars together, Gemini, Virgo, heavy people, this can cause sometimes accidents or injuries in regards to the hands, the fingers, the arms. We also do not want to be taking risks or engaging in foolish or dangerous physical behaviors right now, especially if they are stemming from some type of uncontrollable anger or rage or depression. If you feel yourself, you guys, getting heated about something this week to the point where you feel like you need to do something about it, this is when we need to stop. This is when we need to sort of bring it down, get in alignment with that self-control, redirect somehow, because that is the type of that is the way that accidents can happen in this energy, when we get really motivated, okay, by a feeling of anger or frustration or rage or depression that kind of causes us to take some type of impulsive or rash or reckless action. That has a strong tendency or likelihood of leading to some type of self-sabotaging behavior and perhaps accidents in this energy. So we really want to be careful with that, okay? Also, we want to be prepared to take constructive criticism in this energy, and we can use this energy very positively as a tool for self-analysis and self-growth if we're kind of open to being less ego bruised by whatever's going on in this energy, and to just kind of being like, observant of the way that it's impacting us, the feelings that it's bringing up within us, like how it is just affecting us in the various areas of our lives, and using that to see, where we need to grow or develop or mature a little bit in various aspects. This can be a very good tool to help us see sort of the weaknesses in our own chains and where we need to strengthen ourselves in various areas. And it's a very good energy, though, to assert ourselves where necessary, but not in an aggressive, hostile way, unless you want some type of fight. Like that's just what this is. It's a good day to, if we need to say something, if we need to assert ourselves, if we need to stand our ground, if we need to, participate in some type of show or force or something, like this energy is the energy to do it. However, be very careful because, taking just a little bit too far, or just crossing over a line, or just, the wrong look at the end of whatever you're trying to get across can cause something that, may have been empowering to be very self-sabotaging. So we just kind of want to proceed with caution in this Mercury-Mars opposition energy. Don't be overly aggressive and, again, self-contained, not allowing ourselves to get carried away by either any type of like ego wound that might come up, Mars in the sign of Gemini, or just angry thoughts that we're having. We need to make wise choices and wise decisions in this energy, okay? And then, like I said, we also need to bring in this Neptune dimension as well, because Neptune is over here in Pisces, squaring these planets, these personal planets that we have going on. So I feel like this is really playing out for us in two ways, you guys. Either on, because Neptune rules illusion and delusion, confusion, but also like the heights of spiritual connection and being in tune with our intuition and stuff like that. So I feel like a lot of the fights that are breaking out in this energy are on one hand going to be as a result of like a total lack of understanding, things that aren't even real, lack of awareness, misunderstandings, misconceptions, misperceptions about things, or people feeling just, or coming just literally from a place of delusion and getting into these fights and getting into these arguments because they get carried away and whipped up and just, going like swords blazing, like I said. But on the other hand, I feel like the other way that this energy is likely to manifest is people could also be fighting about some type of truth that they've discovered via, right, this large white dove that is bearing this message, or this information that is coming out in the Sagittarius season, where all of this truth will set you free energy is also being disseminated. A lot of what might be coming to a head right now is likely based in a truth or a revelation that like exposes perhaps where we've been deceived for long periods of time, and just not having that anymore either. So those are the kind of two ways that I think that this could go. On one hand, these fights and these arguments based in this like lack of perception or miscommunication, or just lost in translation, not seeing things clearly and going to war over it. Or on the other side of things, finding some things out, the fog clearing, the illusion lifting, us seeing behind the curtain and being like, oh no, this is not going to stand. Like there's going to be some type of retribution for this in one way or another. Like that's retribution. That is a word that we might see right now as well. But I'm going to say again, you guys, self-discipline, self-control, strategy, making wise choices, slowing ourselves down. This is what is benefiting us right now, using our energy to solve problems, to create solutions, using this Mars trine Saturn energy to figure out what to do next in the best possible way that can carry us forward towards our goals, right? As opposed to recklessly flying off the handle and using this energy to essentially create more karma for ourselves, which is also something that could be going on right now. Today, actually, in the energy, we have both planets representing karma, Saturn, and the South Node both being aspected by the moon. So karmic themes, karmic cycles are also being presented in the energy today, and something that we need to keep in mind as well. This is a week where people are likely speaking the truth of their mind, the truth of their heart, with little holdback, little restraint, like I said, and likely actually like willing to go to war over it in this energy. That's just the configuration of stuff that we have playing out. This is also, though, shattering illusions, images, and facades as well, and everything associated with them, everything attached to them. So I feel like we have that going on as well. Seeing the truth, and also the truth being distorted. Of course, Mars and Gemini, you guys, we have these polarities going on. We have these two sides of things playing out in this energy. Mars retrograde. On one side, this is distorting things so that to the extreme that we can see through them, and on the other side of things, this is just going ahead and shattering the illusion for us as well. So seeing the truth, also the truth being distorted, which is why, again, it is so important that we are slowing down and seeing the bigger picture in this energy before we just impulsively act out and take some type of spontaneous, reckless action that, again, is not necessarily working in our favor. Now, number 3, I want to talk about the moon aspect specifically that we have going on and playing out today. First of all, we have the moon, like I said, is coming into conjunction with Saturn, is forming the trine to Mars, so is accentuating this Mars-Saturn energy. Good judgment, you guys. This is really blessed. I feel like we are very fortunate to have this playing out in the context of this other Mars, Mercury, Neptune energy that we also have coming into effect right now. But the moon also in Aquarius, say that means the moon's going to be squaring Uranus. It means the moon's going to be squaring the nodes. So elements of the unexpected, when we have the moon coming into square with Uranus, this can be shocks, surprises, things not happening according to plan, sort of things being upset or disheveled in some type of a way. Expect the unexpected, changes of plans, just general upsets, stuff like that. But we're also talking about the nodes of the moon, the square to the nodes of the moon. This is karma and destiny. This is the past and the future. This is what we're detaching from. This is where we're headed. And with the moon coming through and doing this as well, this could also be breakdowns in terms of some things that have been holding us back from making the necessary changes or making the necessary choices that we need to make to move in this new direction in alignment with our personal growth. Or it could be breakthroughs, breakdowns and breakthroughs that are both helping to propel us in this new direction in alignment with activating our destiny and coming into the truth of our purpose in one way or another. But we have that going on as well. So overall today, you guys, we have Saturn trining Mars while the moon is there. We have Mercury and Venus in the opposition to Mars and the square to Neptune. We have the moon in Aquarius that is activating the Mars-Saturn trine and also squaring Uranus, squaring the nodes. Let's use this energy today, you guys, to solve whatever problems are coming up for us based on the information that we receive or things that come to us, instead of inadvertently creating more issues for ourselves by allowing ourselves to get carried away and whipped up in whatever may be getting to us on some type of internalized level today as well. Both planets, like I said, ruling karma, are in this being activated today, and energy is trying to move us forward. So let's not get caught up in patterns of the past that cause us to fall back into our own old ways of being and engage in some actions or some behaviors that are not benefiting our trajectory towards our goals at this point in time. We should think before we speak today, you guys. Think before we act. Minding our own business and focusing on our personal goals and growth is where the prize of the day, that is the trophy today that we win, you guys. Minding our own business and focusing on our own goals and our own growth, as opposed to focusing on others, which may actually be where we're sort of more mentally geared right now with Mercury in the conjunction to Venus. That is a mental focus on relationships and on other people generally, but consciously, because we know this is going on, we're going to try to do our best to focus on ourselves and mind our business and gear our energy towards what? Towards our goals and our growth. That's where we're at today, you guys. And that is what I have to say about the astrology. Let's talk about the tarot for a minute now. Interesting message coming up as well. We've got a couple cards to talk about. We begin with the Two of Wands, followed by the Strength card in reverse, followed by the 10 of Swords in reverse. And then on the back of the deck, we have the Four of Pentacles. So we're looking at Strength in reverse as sort of like a generalized collective energy right now, being the major arcana. This is feelings of self-doubt, you guys. I feel like we may be struggling right now with some feelings of self-doubt that are coming through about our ability perhaps to heal and to recover from some things that we've been through and to truly move on. We have the Two of Wands coming up. To me, this is a card in this context about deciding making the choice to move on from something. And it's really funny that I'm saying that right now because I just realized that that was what I titled my new moon in Sagittarius video, which is the last video I did before this one. I feel like the entire theme of our Sagittarius cycle that we have going on right now is about moving on from the past. And that just like popped into my head when I was looking at this card. And I feel like, we may be questioning today in this energy, in the context of whatever might be coming up for us, whether we have the strength, whether we have the courage, whether we like have it within us to move on. And again, this Mars retrograde square Neptune, that is also the energy that is kicking up within us. Like, almost irrational like misconceptions about our ability to like act proficiently. Mars retrograde squaring Neptune, Gemini, Pisces. Generally, yeah, like we may just be experiencing some self-doubts right now. And then look at this. This is even the Ten of Swords in reverse. This Ten of Swords, this is about being done with something. This is about like coming to the end of something. But, with it in reverse, this is like our ability to recover from something. This is our ability to heal. This is our ability to like truly like move on again. So, and then with the Four of Pentacles on the back of the deck, actually underneath that is the Four of Swords. So here we are talking about two fours as well. There's a need to like, it's almost in this energy together, this is almost like a need to hold on to like our state of pause at this moment. The Four of Swords, this is about narrowly missing some type of like look at this guy, he's been in battle and he's made it back from battle, and now he's sort of resting in thanks and gratitude and taking a pause to just be grateful for making it back in one piece and living to fight another day. Okay, you know what I mean? So it's like we're holding on to, or we're valuing our peace perhaps right now is another thing that could be coming through with this. And maybe it's creating a little bit of doubt or fear or resistance to taking the necessary steps to move forward at this point in time, because that's sort of what we're talking about with this Two of Wands, like figuring out like what's our next move. Like we're moving on from something, but what's our next move? What are we going to do next? And questioning, do I have the ability? Do I have the strength? Do I have the courage? Do I have the resources with me? Do I have the faith and trust and belief in myself as well? Do the strength internally and personally to overcome what I've been through, to create like a fresh start at something, to heal from what's been going on right now? And then I feel like sort of like feeling just maybe a generalized need to sort of hold on to a period of rest or a period of peace or a pause in whatever's going on right now as well. Or it could be also that a pause in some type of action, or like a ceasefire, or a pause in some type of arguments or fights or something like that, is also bringing up feelings of self-doubt in a way as well. So, I mean, it could go, it could always go a couple of different ways, but that's generally, what this is saying. There seems to be some type of pause in our ability to move forward as a result of some type of doubt about our ability to move forward, about our ability to recover from something and achieve like a place of peace again, perhaps, or again, maybe like a pause in whatever's going on at this point in time is keeping us from trusting ourselves in a way that needs to, in order to move forward in some type of way or another. But that's what the message seems to be. So regardless, we shouldn't let the self-doubt get the best of us. And we do have this Two of Swords, or this Two of Wands upright. So we are going to be making a choice, and we are going to be moving forward in a way that preserves our peace as well. Talking about that Four of Pentacles, the Four of Swords, like in a way that preserves our peace, preserves our safety, doesn't compromise us in any way. That might be, we may be doubting whether or not there's a way that we can move forward and maintain that. But these cards are saying if that is something that you are dealing with or struggling with, there will be a way to move forward, like without just like totally upsetting and destabilizing everything. So That's what we have to say for the tarot, you guys. All right, let's talk about the synchronicity message right now. Synchronicity cards coming out. God, Spirit, Universe. What is one piece of what is one word, piece of advice or guidance that can help us as we are navigating this energy today, as we start our week? Let's see what it says. And this is very fitting. I would almost expect to see this card. It says, it's your attitude. And you guys, it absolutely, I'm telling you, this week with this Mars Mercury opposition stuff and the square to Neptune, yes, it absolutely is our attitude. That is what it is. Straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Matthew 7:14. The only way you can alter outer conditions is to change your mental attitude. For harmony, peace, prosperity, and health to enter your life, you must fill your subconscious with the understanding that all harmony, peace, abundance, and security is yours right now. And that is exactly what this Mars retrograde square Neptune is disrupting for us on the mental level this week. You know, this card says, for harmony, peace, prosperity, and health to enter your life, you must fill your subconscious with the understanding that all of that is yours right now. And that is exactly what we may be doubting in terms of this self-doubt energy that these cards were describing, okay? So God, Spirit, Universe is telling us very clear, and I also feel like in the context of these Mercury, Mars aspects that we have going on this week, this is also very clear that it literally is our attitude. And again, self-discipline, self-control, slowing things down, making wise choices, not allowing an ego wound or an insult or criticism or judgment to cause us to do something or to make a choice or to slay somebody in some type of way that does not benefit us and does not fill us with the understanding that harmony, peace, abundance, security are ours right now. Okay, so this is what I feel like is very good advice for us this week as well. That's what I have to say today, you guys. A message from the stars, a message from the cards. I hope you guys liked it. I hope I was able to provide something for you that can give you just a little bit of whatever you may be needing to make your day a little brighter as you are navigating your life out there today and this week. If you guys did like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, you guys. Share it with your friends if you think that they would like this kind of content and be interested in this type of astrology as well. Leave me comments, you guys. I really love your comments. I'm so grateful for all of you. Thank you so, so much for being here. I really love knowing how these energies are impacting you, how they are affecting you guys. Thank you once again. I do have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, a website, and some other socials in my description box below if you are into any of that. And come back with me tomorrow, you guys. We are going to have an exact Mercury opposite Mars, Mercury-Mars opposition to talk about. Tomorrow's the day for that, and I'm sure I will have a lot to say about it. So I will be here. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it, and I will see you then, everybody. Have a beautiful day, and until tomorrow, bye, guys.